Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ryan Date, aka Date Ryan Sama on Twitter. Maurice, if you know me. Over there is Nippon Goose Sama, that is the goose. Travis. Up there is Nobunaga Dono, that's Tommy. In the middle is Black by Nature, that's Kadeem. And up there is Ed, and Edwin, because, well, he's Edwin. So here we are. This is the Hashira Podcast, and we are going to be talking about all things anime and nerd, where we are meeting as the pillars to discuss said things. We hope that you would join this meeting, join the conversation in the comments below, with all the things that you want to talk about and conversate about. We will definitely reply to the comments. Reach out to us on Twitter if you have anything else to talk about or want to share with us. We'll definitely be able to interact with you and have these conversations. So, you good, Trav?
Yeah, here's the thing. I would love to. I didn't get to respond to one of the viewers on the YouTube channel, so I'm gonna respond to that person right now. Why didn't anyone choose Air Gear? Let me say why. Air Gear goes way beyond the 25 episodes of the anime. It would not be. It just doesn't do it justice to comment and bring up. I mean, I loved Air Gear. I skate. I enjoyed the anime for what it was, but it's just like at least 5% of what is actually in the manga. And that's the reason why I personally could not bring up Air Gear, just to address somebody who commented.
Gotcha.
But all right.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, the comment was made by a family member, and I think that's kind of funny that you're bringing that up, because I saw that and he definitely hit me up, was like, yo, why'd you guys didn't say anything about it? So Air Gear is classic though. It's a good one. I don't know if you guys have seen Air Gear, but if you have, let us know in the comments below and talk to us about what you thought about it. So as we normally do, we start our conversations off with a good old question. And we were having a conversation, as we normally do, about anime during the week, where we were discussing how things were going in the anime, and we were having different opinions based off of the details given. So I guess my first question is, what is a moment when you realized a detail that the author or the writer gave to you beforehand that foreshadowed the outcome of an event that made you go, oh wow, yeah, I caught that already? Or even just a small detail in the middle of an event that made you realize something that was super cool? Oh, you're dancing over there, so go ahead, Goose.
I will go first. I'm going to say Jiraiya's book. And not Jiraiya's book. Yes, no, it is Jiraiya's book, pertaining to Nagato and Naruto, and how Naruto became Naruto, why he was named Naruto. It was a play on words, because basically, I think after Naruto's father, I'm losing his name, forgetting his name.
Minato the Beast, sure.
Right. After he read the book, he wanted to name his son similar to the person of the book. And basically, Jiraiya already had this thing where he believed that Nagato was he was going to be able to change the world, the land, due to his, his eyes and whatever. And I think it's so interesting because he becomes pain, right? And Naruto, his name and his upbringing and who he is a piece of Nagato's old self, Pain's old self, and that's the reason why he was named Naruto in the first place. Phenomenal to me. To me, that was amazing. The writer did great with that. So
yeah, no, that hit different. I agree. Yeah, that was a moment you just sitting there like, wait, what? Oh, right. Yeah, so, the book.
Do their names have like some type of like direct relation though?
Yeah.
As far as like meaning behind the name itself.
Yeah. So it's like, not only does, I think Naruto also means, I think it's a way of saying ramen, if I'm not mistaken, or it means something else. But the fact in Japan, they love to play with not only what the meaning of a word, but the sounds of a word.
Yeah.
So the fact that Naruto sounds like Nagato is the reason why Jiraiya named the character, that same character in his book.
Yeah. No. Yeah, see details, right? Don't sweat. We're sweating the details here. Does anybody else have one? I know I have. I don't. Mine is nowhere near as cool.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, mine is nowhere near as cool, and mine is a basic one. It's not even like I realized this and I saw this. Mine is more along the lines. I was watching the Endeavor fight the first time I saw it, and when he gets attacked by the Namu after like Hawks helps him kind of punch it in the mouth, and he tries to incinerate it, and the Namu is regenerating really fast. It's like it bites his hand and it starts to push him away, and he needs to go upward to release all the energy that he has stored, so that he doesn't destroy the city, but he knows he can use it in order to defeat the Namu. So now what happens is he calls Hawks, and when he calls Hawks, he makes a little fire arrow on his shoulder. Like, I don't know how much people saw it, and that's how we knew that Hawks knew exactly where to send him. Because I was always wondering why Hawks was just like, how did Hawks automatically know from that first conversation to send him up before he says, because he says higher afterwards, but you see the arrow first that lets you know that he's sending him up. I saw it the first time and I was just like, holy freaking crap. Like that to me was just like, it was not as cool as like Travis's, but it just hit me and I was like, oh shoot, that's freaking dope.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
I mean, might be a little corny because it happens a lot in the anime. But when I watch like
Right.
Detective Conan, sometimes like the person, the culprit, criminal, whatever you want to call them, they always say or do like one thing that, like, if you're paying attention, it lets you know that they're the fucking criminal and stuff like that. So like they'll say something like, oh, the door was closed when we walked in, but then it's like, wait a minute, all the evidence shows that the door was open or something like that. Like, how did you know the door was closed if when we all got here?
Yeah,
it was
that
open?
revealing statement.
So it's
Yeah,
like little, and then he always catches them like, oh, I knew it was you because, and then he'll hit him with other evidence and stuff like that.
hit him with.
So does
boom.
the anime does the anime set it up in a way for you to actually figure out you can solve it yourself? Like
I
Sherlock
feel
had-
like I want to say like 60 or like 60%, 70% sometimes, because there's sometimes where it's like you can't, like, there's no way we would have sat there and thought of, like, oh, that's what they did. Like, there was one episode I saw where the person used like fishing wire and like threw it through the window and then through the door and then like had a hook and dug the key underneath and was able to lock it from outside and then slide the key back in. And it's just like, you're never gonna think of that. So sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, that's obvious.
So let me ask you a question about that anime. Like when there's times like he's solving a case and like say he's at a crime scene like looking for clues, is there like little details like you have to pay attention to like, you know, like something in the right hand corner, like, you know, so like if you didn't see that, you're not gonna know, like, you know, the little small clues to like why he figured that out like in the long run?
The only time you won't know is sometimes in like the shorter, because the episodes are all 20 minutes, and sometimes they have some that are like part 1, part 2, part 3. So like in the small ones, he'll point out like a obvious detail, or like you'll see, you know, like the person was like strangled and stuff like that. You're like, yeah, that's what happened. And then there's other times where he'll just be like, oh, so that's how it happened. Someone will say something and it will click in his head that, oh, they threw the person out the window. But you don't know that until he like stops and then he confronts the person about it.
Right. Okay.
Conan Kun.
Yeah, word.
Bruh. But, you know, that's cool. Deem, Tom, what's up?
I have one. And mine like kind of sort of contained spoilers.
It's an anime
like,
cast,
you know,
y'all.
But
Y'all know we talking
I'm
this anime
not
stuff.
I'm not gonna go into far details with it, but I'm just gonna say the anime One Piece. I would just say like what the writer does. Oda, like, he just leaves like little clues in, like, say like the opening chapter. So like say if, like, for example, just like in Dressrosa when Doflamingo got defeated, and when it was reading the newspaper saying that, you know, Doflamingo got defeated, in the bottom right hand corner it was saying something about Vega, which is given like a future reference that Vegapunk is going to be introduced into like the in a future arc. So it just gives you an open idea, like, you know, when is he gonna arrive? Like, you know, oh my God, you know, Vegapunk was introduced in this silhouette right here. And then also, it was another incident where a traitor was discovered amongst a group of individuals, and that traitor, like, what I mean, like, he was willing to die for his friends. But he was willing to die for his friends. He did anything for his friends, so you wouldn't suspect that he was a traitor. But then when you figured out he was a traitor, and you went back to previous episodes, when you went back, you have to go back like what was it, 2 arcs to really figure out that, he was a traitor, because like he did, when he started to move a certain way, and when everyone starts to pinpoint like, yo, like, why is he moving like that? Why did he do that? That's when it starts to come to your attention, like, oh crap, like. And like I said before, I don't want to relieve too much detail for those who watch the anime, so I'm just trying to seclude everything just so it could, so you guys can catch on it on your own.
No.
Right?
We respect you trying to respect the spoilers.
We
hear you.
Appreciate that.
We hear you.
It's just the suspense level. Like, it's just like, oh my god, like now I gotta go back 2-3 arcs to watch, like, how this person was moving, to how he was reacting to certain information that individuals got. So it's just like, damn, like, and that goes to show you, like, wow, that person was thinking like outside the box. Like, it's 2 boxes. Yeah, outside, like,
bruh.
3 boxes. Yeah, not there. You feel me?
It's crazy. Nah, I mean, I'm anime watching One Piece again, so that's way ahead of me. So I cannot even. I respect.
That's why I don't want to reveal no names.
I mean, but this is an anime podcast, and we try to talk anime. There's a lot of things we're gonna talk about. There might be some spoilers sometimes, but just know that as we go through it, you're gonna hear somewhere, because we talk about some. We might dip in the manga sometimes. We might dip out of it. We just like to talk about the details and talk about how good anime really is. Hey, Tom, talk to us, Doc. What's up, Nobunaga? To know?
Mine is just more so like foreshadowing of a death, which was Netero's death in Hunter 2011.
I'm still upset about.
I mean, aside from the fact that when he used up, or he was like powering up in front of that cult, and then cult came back and said you wouldn't be able to really lay or have like put a scratch on him or something like that. And that was more blatant. But there's a scene where when they like infiltrated I would say like his palace or whatever, after that dragon dive that Zeno did hit Komugi, Meruem kind of got pissed off. They were like, Netero and Zeno were like standing, I guess, like right next to each other, and he like walked right through them with his back turned to them. It's pretty much foreshadowing, like, these guys really don't stand up to him at all. And that's when they proceeded to go to wherever they were going to fight. And as it turns out, Netero did die.
Yeah.
You're right.
So there's like a lot of clues that showed, like, man, he's not gonna do shit to the king.
Hunter x Hunter is one of those anime that there is a ton of that stuff. I think Hunter x Hunter is a good example of sweating the small details, because there's a lot of like things that you learn even in the beginning of the show, right after they got their licenses, when they started learning how to use the Nen and stuff. It lets you understand what was going on during the test when they were on the island. You're like, yo, how come this person can do this with his powers? And then as they learned how to use Nen, then you're like, oh, Nen could do that too? And you're like, that's why it all makes sense. So I feel like Hunter x Hunter, and even I'm a big fan of the good old homies, the spiders, and that situation that happened. And I feel like a lot of that too, we got to learn through things that we also saw throughout the anime. Especially when the old guy, Grandpa Zoldyck, was over there, kind of.
Zeno?
He's a beast.
I have a question about Hunter.
And so cool. We'll get to that in a second. Give me a sec. Let me finish real quick. Yeah. And so you can see him start to like really describe exactly what it is that Chrollo's doing and why it works. And then you can relate a lot of that to what we learned about how they use those Nen abilities throughout the show. And I just thought, like, just watching how those Nen abilities work differently for different people and seeing how it actually works in mechanics, I just like the way that always unfolded in Hunter x Hunter. I'd have to say that for sure.
They definitely get into the mental like psyche of a character. It's that narrative to be able to explain everything. That's what makes it like an unconventional like shonen.
Yeah, and I think it's more than just like abilities in Hunter. Like you said, it's about the characters' thought patterns. They change the way that their Nen is being used based off of who they are, which is why Hisoka does the bungee gum, right? Because it's who he is that makes him want to like manipulate it that way. I think it's really cool the way they do it.
I don't really ever see any types of plot hacks or anything like that, because clearly if the person can't win, they're not going to win. Nobody finds out a new ability or power in the middle of a fight, from what I could tell. Except for, I would say, like Yubi when he was enlightened, and then he became that, like, I don't know, that warrior-looking ant.
All right, so I have a question, but I'm gonna ask it after Kadeem does, because I don't have a question for you. Once you said that,
Yeah, word.
go ahead, Kadeem.
Well, it's more of a thought. It's about Kite. You know, that ability that he had, of like he was reincarnated into a female's body. Like, I never really fully understood that. Like,
Damn. I believe Kite's ability was his last ability to save him from dying was called like Hell I Would Die. Then became reincarnated as an ant, or a female ant.
Travis is having a moment where he's not here for this hunter stuff.
I enjoy it. And I just feel like we the thought of, yes, there is a lot of thought that went into it.
Yeah.
But I think it's put on a pedestal.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I do enjoy a lot of the thought put into it. I do want to ask you this, Tommy. So this is my thing though. So if you feel like there are no hacks at all, then how do you explain like Gon's ability to just turn to older Gon? Like that to me was still very weird.
Okay,
go ahead.
So that's the thing too. The really cool thing about Nen, there are limits, and there are everything, like there's other things that come with it. So for him to even gain that ability, look what happened to him afterwards. He was pretty much dead. He killed himself. He was gonna die until he got healed by Naniko, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and he only used it to kill Pito. Like, he probably wouldn't have even been able to beat the king.
I don't think he'd have been able to beat the king, because I don't think he was on Netero's level.
Post bomb, King was way stronger than Meruem in I would say, the state that he was in when he fought Meruem. So there's no way in hell that Gon would have been able to beat him. At least I don't think so. If it wasn't for that poison, everybody would be dead. Like, the king died to poison.
Yeah, which is I was still very anticlimactic.
That's what I'm saying.
That was very anticlimactic.
Very anticlimactic.
It was. It really was. I mean, you tell us how you guys felt that arc ended, and do you feel like it was anticlimactic? Do you feel like the poison was necessary to kill the king because no one could beat him? How do you feel about the way that ended in Hunter x Hunter? Please, in the comments below. But I hear what you're saying about the thing, because it's just that, like, it was just a weird way for them to kind of have his Nen ability to be kind of like to explode in the moment for pure emotional intensity. And I was just like, I didn't see him just becoming older. I think that's why it shocked me so much. Like, I remember the first time I saw this scene, I was like, wait, whoa, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I was asking how you felt about that scene itself. I definitely thought that was very interesting.
It was great, but it's not like right after the fact, like he turned into miniature Gon, and then after a couple of seconds he turned back into himself. Like, after going into that form, that was a one-time deal. He was supposed to be dead.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about details like that in anime, like Hunter x Hunter being a good place to talk about it, I think another anime that's good at the details was obviously Attack on Titan, right? When the first time we see the female Titan go into her fighting stance, it must have clicked, right? I was just like, I remembered it immediately. I was like, whoa. Yeah. She definitely fights like this. There's no way they don't know who this female Titan is. Why don't people know this kind of situation from the anime? That was legit the moment I had. I was like, whoa, you know? Even furthermore, when we talk about Bertholdt and Reiner, right? What? Yo, like, it's just like, oh man, all of those things to me were like shown in such detail because of the way that Attack on Titan is written, and you get to see it fully play out in front of you, and you're always like, yo, did you see? Yo, it's crazy. I mean, to me, Attack on Titan was amazing. Is amazing. I don't read the manga, so I don't know if it falls off this train of greatness that it's on.
No.
But I can tell you for sure that it was such a roller coaster ride between the action fights and the actual off-screen chess playing that happens between the politicians and the people in power and the Titans. It was very good, and that's another show that I feel like when you see those details, you're just like, hey yo, that's crazy. They definitely showed this before.
Could I ask a question? Did any details lead to like? It didn't, right? It didn't, because I didn't suspect it was Reiner or Berthold at all.
You didn't? I did.
Know.
I thought it was definitely Reiner. I definitely thought it was Reiner.
I did not know.
I thought it was Reiner.
Especially the female Titan as well.
When you watch back,
no, there's no way. What did you feel? What did
honestly, do you want to know why?
Anything.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
The only reason I thought it was Reiner was because his haircut.
Yo, I was thinking that.
Wow.
Because the way
I wasn't looking at that detail.
there's an intentional shot when he breaks through the wall, and they make sure so like when it happened, I was like, yo, I knew it was Reiner, right? But after I went back to watch it afterwards, there's an intentional shot when he breaks through the wall where they make sure you can see his figure. They purposely make sure you can see his head. Like they stay on it for a while so you can like look at it for sure, right? And that's when I was like, yo, it's gotta be Reiner, because the way they set it up. And whenever he breaks through the wall, Reiner is always not in the group. Always. So like I figured that when they showed it was him. Berthold I wasn't sure about until I was like, but wait, they're always together, and the way that these two show up is always together as well, and that's when I put it together. But honestly, the haircut is what gave him away because of how long they had the camera on the armored Titan when he broke through the wall.
Right. I wasn't paying attention to that. Wow, I was not paying attention to that.
Because I didn't want to. You know what it is? I don't like to believe the obvious. That's what it is with me. And I felt the conversation I had with Edwin with Obito, and I was like, nah, it can't be him. It can't be him, because it's not gonna make it good for me. I was wrong. I stand corrected, because honestly, when I found out it was him, the story still played it out in a way where it was still really good. But
I mean,
at
that
the time,
that story gave us the Kakashi Obito fight.
Right. At the time, I didn't want
epic fight, by the way.
Yeah. I got
a question.
I think it was the same thing with Reiner. I didn't want it to be him. But it didn't ruin anything when I saw it. It didn't take anything away.
What's up, Tom? What's up?
Yeah, I didn't know.
You guys mentioned Obito. Don't you think he was a little too drastic?
What do you mean, like in the reasons of him doing what he did, like going about what
everything that he did?
He was in
Don't you think it was a little too drastic?
I think this is beautiful writing, and this is why people don't give Naruto what to do. A big thing that people say, this pertains to real life as well as shows and movies, is that the people that create us, our adults, are our children's selves. That is the truth. Your dreams, your goals, what have you, come from when you're a child. He was in love with this girl, and he believed that his best friend would take care of her, and that didn't happen. She was taken away from him. And therefore, also brainwashing. Madara brainwashed him, right? Got into his head.
Right.
All things can make somebody go crazy, become drastic. It's the truth. And I think that's what happened.
No, no, go ahead, Tom.
I just thought that if he had killed Kakashi, just Kakashi alone, and probably used that resurrection technique, would that not have been enough?
No, I don't think so. Because at that point,
because he lost this woman,
girl,
she was a little girl. My bad. She never even grew up.
Never grew up. All right.
So it's okay to just kill everybody.
Because he believed he was gonna make a new world. He thought he was gonna bring about a new world where Kakashi could come back and not feel bad and everything. Like he was just trying. I think that was the whole thing, right? To make he said that this world
It was to put everybody into some eternal sleep.
right, because he said this world can't be good because of everything that he's witnessed over the time.
Okay.
It can't be a good world. Therefore, I'm gonna put everybody to sleep and give them the world that they should deserve.
I mean,
Even
but
Kakashi.
also, Tommy, like Travis said earlier, you have to remember that brainwashing is important here. There was a lot of things that
Yeah,
Madara
I
was
didn't
putting into
really-
his mind that was trying to force him to make the thing that Madara wanted to happen. It was a play into how he wanted this plan to play out and how he used the emotions of a child, because at the time Obito was young. He used the emotions of a child against him in order to create a situation that favored him and his plans and endeavors for what was going to happen in the future. And that's a big part of it, because we are shaped indeed by our childhood selves. Those make a big part of us in our psyche, in our emotions, and that's why children are the way they are when they get older. You know, if you're spoiled as a child, you get older, you stay spoiled. You know, there's some things, if you go through hardships, you're able to deal with it better when you're an adult. And so because Obito was in his forming stages, it was easy for Madara to input what he wanted in there to change his ideals and force him in a way based off of what had happened to him and the trauma he was dealing with, to say, hey, you need to do this. And then they go back to give us the arc where they show Obito showing up and seeing that happen. So we know that even seeing it caused more trauma, giving Madara more of a canvas, if you will, to paint what he wanted Obito to do and to be in the future. And as Travis said, as we are sweating the details here. That's pretty good writing.
Seriously good writing. And honestly, you know what? That's not even great writing. That's also like he could have messed up there. He really pushed himself to a limit where, because if he omitted any type of information, it could have been plot holes. Like he could have easily messed up where people were like, this is trash. You know what I mean? Like giving us that storyline too, like, was perfect. He knew he had to give it to him.
Yeah.
If he did, I don't know. I think I would have been like, this is stupid, and Obito should have never been. What's his name? Like
So let me ask you a question, Travis. When did Obito realize like he's gonna change for the greater good? We'll say that.
Well, I think he at a certain point, right, he had long hair, right? He was ready to leave, and what happened? I think what's his name showed. I think he showed Kakashi not keeping her alive. I think that's what happened. So he saw it. What were those things called? The black and white dudes.
The Zetsu?
Yeah. So he brought him at the perfect time to watch her die. That's traumatizing as a kid.
Yeah, perfect timing. That was a perfect time.
Right. But didn't like Kakashi like explain what really happened in that situation?
Not to him.
No, not to him. Remember, he didn't know about it. And I feel like, and that's also masterful detail work as well, because of this situation, we were given one of the best hand-to-hand fights in anime history. I don't think anyone will dispute me when I say that Kakashi versus Obito is one of the greatest fights that we've ever seen. I can watch that 1,000,000 times. And the way they even
want to add like a small clip.
When they even do it, it's so great. But we get to see that because of the way they did the details, because of the way that the Zetsus were forming Obito, the way that Obito really felt like he had to seriously do what he was doing when he was fighting Kakashi. And it also showed Kakashi and Obito's relationship during the fight to let you know that they were fighting before, and as they have evolved into adults, they have changed and learned, got better as ninjas, and they had to make the adjustments while they were fighting because they knew how each other would fight. Obito knew that he was pretty much not good against fighting Kakashi one-on-one based off when they were children. And now he's like, okay, well, now I'm older. And they show the flashback, and then they show the actual fight again when you see Obito make the adjustments. And it's just like, yo, son. Like, that fight was literally amazing. And they put a lot of thought into that and the build up to it. And what we got as the payoff worked very well. And I feel like that's why the details and sweating those details in anime is very, very, very important. So I have to do this now because we're talking about details. So let's talk about the funny stuff, right? Where are those moments in anime where you're like, there's too much of them trying to prove something to us and it's frustrating? For example, I know a lot of you like watching One Piece. It was the top selling manga for a long time, and then Demon Slayer came out and said no more. But in the anime of One Piece, we see a lot of things very, very, very repetitive. For example, how many times did they walk up those damn steps in Water 7? There's not, but to me, there isn't a lot of like real detail they're trying to give. Like in Naruto, we get a lot of flashbacks in Naruto Shippuden did a lot better with changing how they made those flashbacks way more meaningful and less intrusive, and I really enjoyed that in Shippuden. Now in One Piece, we don't even like, it's not even just like the flashbacks. We get these moments that we see a million times. How many times was Big Mom going to say, come on Ed, do it for me Ed, wedding cake, right? How many, like how long do we have to sit through those moments in order to see it? So what are some moments in anime you're just like, this is too much, we get it already, let's go?
Oh man, we get it already, let's go. Oh my, okay, I think they changed it up with Black Clover. That guy in the beginning was annoying.
Mada.
Him not- I was just like, for God's sake. I almost stopped watching the anime because of that. I almost was done. I was just gonna read the manga and be done with the anime. But I just enjoyed the character himself, like, you know, persevering. So I think that. Have you noticed he doesn't do? I mean,
he still does the yelling, but it's not as bad. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's not as bad.
It's not as bad.
I was throwing it out.
Wait, Travis, you brought up Black Clover, right?
Yeah, we were talking about the mada and how much they showed that in the beginning.
Well, the only funny moment in Black Clover was, well, not only funny moment, one of the funny moments that stuck out to me in the beginning was when everybody was calling out to their what is that? What is the little book that they call
the
the Grimoire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Asta still did his hands up, and everybody was, and the light shined on him. It was like awkward pause, and he was just standing there like in that little pose, and he was like, that's coming down. So he just got murdered.
Bruh. No, that was definitely funny though. I was just sitting there like, dang, poor little kid getting smoked on this anime.
Word.
But yeah, no, but I agree with you though, Trav. And in the beginning of Black Clover, there was a lot of repetitive stuff. I guess they were trying to drive the point in the beginning of it. But I just feel like sometimes good details, good writing, you don't have to really drive home that point. Naruto was also a little bit like that, but not too bad. In the beginning, when they kept bringing reference to the Nine-Tailed Fox and Naruto's like loneliness, I feel like it was obvious at a certain point that we know Naruto's alone, we got it. And until he's talking about it during fights, you know, I felt like it was better when he was saying it to people and like having the moments when he thought about it when he was dealing with people, so that he could deal with people better. That made more sense to me. But there was a point in the beginning where they would always kind of bring reference to that, and I felt like that was also a lot too. Nowhere near as bad as walking up the steps in Water 7. Nowhere near as bad as jumping off trying to save Robin. None of those things happen nearly as bad. One Piece is the king of that repetitive thing that's just like, this arc, whatever it is going to take way longer just because it's One Piece.
This is just
And in the comments, you tell me if there's another anime that's that bad, or if I'm being too harsh. You let me know. Let us know if what we're saying, if you agree with it or not. You tell us in the comments. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Hold on. In a low-key way, I want the viewers to start to notice this too. Maurice is the harsh person on this show. You are the harsh one on this. I need you to understand and notice that. You are the harsh one on this show, Maurice. I just want to.
I feel like that's not. I like details, man.
We're not gonna say harsh. We're just say straightforward.
He's the realest of it. He came for Goku and his ultimate instinct. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go there. I'm gonna talk about.
Wait, hold on. Oh, you know, since we're here, let's do it. Do you guys really feel that what I said about Ultra Instinct was all that incorrect? Do you feel that was a natural progression that we got, or it was just a random shonen transformation in order to give him the plot armor to win against an unbeatable opponent? I just feel like that was an obvious and blatant change that they had to give him, because there was no way that he could close the gap on somebody that was that strong, and there was no way that they could prove it to us in any other fashion. So let me know if you feel like I'm wrong. Talk to me, like Tom, Kadeem, Ed, what's up? Do you feel like, you guys see that? Like, what do you think?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I think it was an obvious plot armor.
So you feel like it was given?
It suits Goku's I mean, it suits him as a person. So yeah, Maurice, you said it's obvious. He would. I mean, they explain it, and you would sit back and be like, yeah, they would give him something like that because it makes sense.
It's a good thing you guys brought this up, because I was just having a comment with someone in the comments. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was saying that Vegeta's.
Oh yeah, I saw that comment here.
when his evolution state was stronger than Goku's.
Kaioken. Yeah.
In Super Saiyan Blue was stronger. So they feel like Vegeta evolution was basically stating that Vegeta was stronger than Goku before he had Ultra Instinct transformation. What do you think about that, Travis?
Oh, Travis, we'll talk to us, Trav.
Okay. You think that Travis Vegeta was stronger than Goku at that point?
No, it doesn't matter because Vegeta's point and main point in the show, as much as we love Goku becoming the save the day and everything, the best character in terms of character development and watching him is Vegeta. I think we need to understand that Vegeta has basically he's a prideful man. Okay, he didn't love anybody. Now he has a man. Doesn't want to.
Badman word.
Man, he had that shirt on.
Kakarot is his best friend, right? Doesn't want to admit that Goku is definitely stronger than him. He probably will always be stronger than him. He's gonna keep on striving for that. He fought against like loving the human race, and now he fights for it. Bulma is his wife. He has children. You know what I'm saying? Like watching him is so great because it's like he goes through all these emotions. Like, we got to see this guy transform. He's really the only one that transformed in all of the characters, truly. In terms of like watching someone and having character change and them having some kind of depth. Vegeta has the most depth out of
in
all
DBZ. Yes.
What about Gohan?
I mean,
yeah, I was good.
I mean,
I always thought Gohan was a character that they always try to like build him up.
I do. No, you're right. No, you're right, Ed. You're absolutely right.
Roles and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. So Gohan had a lot of character development, and we watched him from young Gohan growing up. Yeah. I feel like the reason that he gets a lot of flack is because his arc was the way that they kind of dropped his arc, because they built it up that he was supposed to be the savior, and then I feel like Toriyama was just like, no, it's the Goku show. Chill, bro. Goku got this. But I will agree with you, because we did see even Gohan in high school, right? We got to see him in high school, how he was living and how he was dealing with people and trying to fit in and being a scholar while still being the strongest person on earth at the time, because Goku was dead. It's like, so we did get to see that. So Ed is absolutely right. But I do feel like Vegeta is more satisfying because they gave us the payoff. We get to see Vegeta at a higher level in combat, in personality, and everything, just because the way that the writer gave it to us. Because watching Vegeta overcome the limits and honestly even overcome the pen in a way, right? He's always made to be not as good as Goku, and so even though we don't get to see him be as good as Goku in the moments, we get to see Vegeta doing some amazing things in Super, having big emotional moments and sacrifices in Z, and watching him change for the better throughout the series. And I feel like watching Vegeta he's probably one of the most detailed characters in DBZ, because DBZ is not an anime where we sweat the details, right? It's a lot of weird stuff, like even understanding power levels and what aura means. Like, oh, I can get shot, but I can't get shot because I'm so strong and my aura is not on. Like, you know, even with the discrepancies and how they do aura and what that means, the most detailed thing that we see is characters like Vegeta that we can watch from beginning to end and see how they change. So yeah,
it's phenomenal.
I can see that.
That was Majin. That was an amazing arc right there.
Yeah, this man go again with this Majin thing.
I don't know if that was an amazing arc, but Majin Vegeta was an amazing moment. Yes.
It wasn't a good arc. No.
He took on himself to take this on, knowing it might take over his body, just so he could beat his rival.
Yeah, because yeah.
And then when he saw that it was kind of taken, he was like, you know what? No. You can't beat. I'm gonna beat this and show my pride, and then fought against whatever, and sacrificed himself.
I'm gonna blow you to bits.
I can't believe that. Like that is.
Wait,
I wouldn't want to, like.
Yeah.
It's called potential. It was called he unleashed his potential for a reason. And now with the
you're talking about the name of the episode.
Yeah, when he turned blue and whatever.
Right.
It's called potential.
That show.
That's all it is.
That show shits on Vegeta so bad.
It does. It frustrates me when it does. No, it does. It does. And it frustrates me when it does.
Shits on him, man.
Yeah.
From the whole Cell shit to him like letting him turn perfect Cell, then he gets smoked so bad.
I mean, well, technically everyone would have got smoked at that moment because Cell was OD stronger than everyone. when he first turned perfect, by the way. Like, no one was on his level at all, actually.
But he had the chance to kill Cell.
He did, but he didn't because he's Vegeta.
No, because it's
Did you watch?
And his pride.
Exactly, because he's Vegeta. That's what I'm saying. He's Vegeta. He's Vegeta. Unfortunately, you have to let a character be a character all the way through. And Vegeta, through tried and true, is always Vegeta. And that's why the Majin situation made a lot of sense. Because even though he was making the turn for the better, he was living with a family and all that stuff, inside of him, he still was the prince of all Saiyans. He had to prove it no matter what, and that's why he let Babidi get him, because he had to show how he was going to be better than Goku, because inside of him he always wants to be better, and at the time he saw no other way around it, because he was working as hard as he was, doing everything he could, and he could not close the gap, and that's why he allowed that to happen. And I feel like that's why watching him and Goku train with Whis is so important, because you see the differences in how they take on using this God Ki and how they kind of react to opponents. When Goku gets smoked, right, against Frieza, and Vegeta takes over, he's like, you playing around, I'm not playing with Frieza. And he comes in and literally smokes Frieza, right? And he's like, this is the end of it, right? He wasn't playing no games, right? Goku was playing. Vegeta had no intention of playing around with Frieza. There was no playing there.
Now, to add on to what you just said, Maurice, I want to revisit this question when they start the super arc, when they start the new arc for Dragon Ball Super. This what was the question?
Was Ultra basically a cop out for the?
No.
Give it
No. But because basically it's something in the new arc that's gonna happen where you have to go back and rewatch what Maurice just said with the training Whis and Vegeta. That's gonna be like, okay, that's why he's like that. So basically, it's like it's something you have to go back to rewatch to understand.
So it's gonna be so pretty much start like the point of this episode. We're talking about the details. You feel like when I get to see this part, there's a detail I saw before that's gonna hit me like, oh, I got you. Okay. Exactly, so when it happens, I will be prepared for it. That actually sounds fantastic. So I'm here for it.
I would agree.
You guys really think Super is good though?
I think it's more a play on nostalgia. It's Dragon Ball. It's Dragon Ball Z. It's a play on nostalgia. The writing isn't that great. A lot of the transformations are weird. In the tournament of power, there was a lot of characters that they hyped up that we were going to get to see actually do things that didn't get to do anything. Poor Gohan got left in the dust again throughout the writing of it. And I feel like Vegeta did a lot of great things, but they kind of just like hyped him up for nothing pretty much. Oh, actually, I'm lying. He smoked Toppo. That was amazing. So he got smoked with the Hakai Blast, and he was just like, bro, I'm Super Saiyan God, get this off me, fam. Now you gonna catch these hands, pretty much. And that's literally what happened to him. So I feel like there was a lot with that, but at the end of the day, it is still Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z-esque and post Dragon Ball Z, and so there's a lot of missing pieces and gaps that we would like to see done better, but we don't really expect it because it's so much a play on our nostalgia for what we love about the transformations, which is why they gave us Ultra Instinct. It was a new transformation that we didn't see. They knew we'd be hype about it because it's a different color. They wanted us to see that. It would draw us in because that's what DBZ is about, right? Transformations and colors, right? Let me stop. But it was amazing in that aspect to see it happen, and so I will say that I definitely always enjoy it.
The directing is good. I like the directing too.
Some of the fighting scenes are pretty good.
The animation is they played around. They know we have new technology, and they're playing with it now.
Yeah, they're bringing something that we used to like into the forefront of a technology and animation. With that being said. Yeah, I mean, as we're coming to the close, as we normally do, we're gonna just ask that last question for thought. We ask that, hey, if you guys were watching and stuff like that, that you continue to join the, meeting of pillars, that whatever we talked about, please in the comments below, have the conversation with us. Tell us what you thought. Tell us what you were thinking. The best part about watching anime is being able to, I think a big part for me was watching anime with my friends at school, right? You saw an episode, you got to school, yo, did you see that? Because you want to talk about how awesome it was with people that, you hang out with, right? So as we're having this conversation among us, with you guys, we want to have the same conversation with you, hear what you guys thought about those moments in anime that kind of we talked about, the different things that we're talking about in the details and sweating those things that, makes anime worth watching all the way through, right? It wouldn't just be something we watch for a whole 40, 50 episodes. Some of us watched Naruto from beginning to end, right? That was a long time. Especially for us, we started watching Naruto. I started watching Naruto in the 8th grade, and it finished when I was a grown man, right? So there's a reason that we watch these things all the way through for those moments. So to closing out, Kadeem has a question for us. So, what's up?
Yeah, I do. And before I leave with that question, I would just like to state that being that we're just now starting this anime podcast, from here everything is just going to progress. So we're going to integrate live discussions so we could get more interactions with our viewers. I just wanted to throw that out there just so they won't feel left out, so just so they could feel like they're a part of the podcast as well. And I would just like to ask what does anime mean to you? Like, it could be of a emotional standpoint, it could be of like some type of getaway where you feel at peace watching it, where you feel like no one is bothering you. I just want to know, what does anime mean to you?
I'm eager to answer this question. Anime to me is a big place where I get to see people who can't do things that happen in the normal world, deal with normal world problems on a bigger scale that makes me feel like I want to deal with those problems in a better way in my own life. Watching Naruto be able to take how he grew up and still decide that he's going to treat people better and want to be the leader of people so that he can teach them how to treat people better was amazing to me. And dealing with those situations to me was a big moment for how I dealt with things as I grew up. I'm not even a big fan of the main character. Most of the time I'm a fan of the side character, the rival character, because they always have those traits that I like. Being very cool, very quiet, very calm, collected, and making thoughts that are logic over emotions because of the way they deal with those things. I'm a big fan of them. But watching how those people always seem to grow and develop as characters, and because these characters are put on the grandest scale of the anime normally because they're the main set of characters, we get to see them interact with a big group. And for me, that's a big thing. I love watching that in anime because it shows that even with all the power that they have, that they still make those right decisions in order to do it. Like Spider-Man said, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben, excuse me, right? And so you see that in anime a lot, that the main characters have so much power, but because of their ideals, because of how they were made, like Travis said earlier in the episode, our kid selves always form our adult selves because of those ideologies that they're given when their characters are progressing and growing. We see that no matter how much power they get, they stick to those ideals. And it always taught me that there are certain principles I have, certain ideals that I have, that I still need to stick to them no matter how much better I get at something, how much talent I have, the skill I have. I should still be able to give back in a way that affects everyone in a positive way. And that's what I got from anime. It's a big thing for me growing up to see that happening on screens. And even though it was animated, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, you just preached. You preached some words right there.
That's me.
Anyone else like to chime in? Ed?
I mean, everything that what's his name said is like 100% true. But I mean, it's kind of more for like entertainment. I mean, I really do enjoy anime and like the shows that I watch. But for like the most part, I mean, Maurice kind of like covered everything. So, yeah, I don't really like think too much about it or whatever.
So how does like when you're watching it, like how do you feel?
Well, for me, it depends on like which one I'm watching.
Conan,
cool.
Conan, I try to like pay attention because I want to like solve the case with him. So I try to like pay attention to like see what like little hints, stuff like that.
So do you see yourself like mentally like connected with Conan because you're trying to solve those cases? Like you're trying to think like to his capacity, like his level? Yeah,
actually, yeah. Sometimes like when he's like looking around for like evidence and stuff like that, I try to like get serious. He like walks around like this the whole time, just like he's just standing there thinking. I don't do that, but I once now I'm just. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, all right, let me pay attention to like this dude trying to find stuff so I can see like if I'm like missing things or whatever.
Yeah. So let me ask you one more question. Do you try to solve the case before he does?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's naturally right. That's natural, right?
Yeah, sometimes. But then most of the time, I'm just gonna let him do it because I'm never gonna. I never do it. So, so I just let him.
Almost like Japan's version of Scooby Doo.
Nah. Actually, I'm gonna say a little bit because he does have like a little crew. Since he was a high schooler and he turned into like a little kid, he made friends. So like him and his friends will go around sometimes and they think they're like the detective boys they call themselves. But it's really just him kind of like solving everything or whatever. So a little bit, but it's a little more serious than Scooby-Doo. People like be like really
Okay.
dying in the show and stuff like that, and things of that sort.
okay.
But yeah,
Sherlock Holmes.
Word.
yeah, no, the character's a big Sherlock Holmes fan.
See it?
I think
See?
yeah. So
Kid cells,
Yeah, I
forming
didn't think of
cells.
that. Go ahead, Travis.
Ready.
Tom was gonna answer.
Go ahead. I'll answer after you.
Okay. Anime for me is Escape. It's no different than reading an amazing book. It's no different than watching an awesome movie, and it's no different than watching a superb live action show. But the escape part comes even further when it's not my culture. We know that anime deals mostly with Japanese culture, and that's literally on the other side of the world. And I think about it like, what does it mean here on the West, and is there a difference to be there on the East? And they take into, even with like, it can be modern day, they can go back into the past, they can have a futuristic, but no matter what, they still, like us, when we make our shows, input those cultural values. We see that with Gintama. We've seen that with Akira, the movie. And I think that's what like keeps me involved, is like this mirror, right? It's literally a mirror because East and West. And in terms of like being different, it's not everybody likes anime. Not everybody really cares about Japanese culture. Not everybody, wants to watch these different things. And even with like manga and live action animes that they've done, right? It still like keeps me involved. Then you want to know more from anime. You start watching actual Japanese shows. I think that's what keeps me involved, is this mirror, this distant mirror that I want to be next to as close as possible. And to piggyback off of Maurice's sayings, also like, their values. Do I have the same values? Can I have the same values? Being that it's different culture. So I think, and plus the directing is amazing, and the colors and stuff like that. That's great stuff too as well.
Daggone colors, man. Daggone colors.
Yeah.
The art
We
style
love-
is amazing.
We've always loved cartoons, Spider-Man, what have you, but it's different. We get like the bigger eyes, and the skinnier noses, and the different sound effects. But it's still a cartoon at the end of the day. But it's the same. Wow, I'm quoting somebody right now. It's the same but different. So yeah, I think that's what I like about anime so much.
Nice.
And what brings me
I
to
agree.
I think that's a good question.
That's some heat.
Word. Word.
He folded.
Like,
All right, I'll answer.
I don't know, like,
Well, being that I primarily just read manga, looking at the animated version of the manga that I really like is, a really good reason as to why I watch the anime. I don't really watch full episodes in particular, unless it's like Death Note. But more other animes that I watch it just for the fights. I want to see a lot of the real big action. I want to see everything animated. It is entertainment though, as Ed was saying. It's when it's time to just chill and wind down, I throw on a good ass anime and just watch it for
Word.
hours.
Word.
great.
And all the action scenes is the most attractive thing. That's how I got even interested in anime in the first place, way back when. That's why I was just yo, this shit is so cool. Just continue to keep going from there. And from what Travis was saying, you pick up on their culture. You pick up on the language. If it wasn't for watching anime, there's certain Japanese phrases or words that I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, of course. Oh my.
And he also said like some of the big differences. You know, another big difference was the mannerisms in the characters. There's no way that you would see them acting like the way that an American-made cartoon would, just like Spider-Man, for instance. So just watching that, you know, you catch up on a lot of their culture, and I would say you just by watching anime, you would be more prepared to like go to Japan as opposed to someone that did. Because you kind of like have a feel as to how these people are gonna act.
Nah, that's real talk right there, man.
Anime is a big part of their culture for sure. That's just
Oh yeah,
right.
Manga, anime, it's huge. I mean, video gaming scene is huge.
Exactly. And we're gonna get to that one. Video games and anime video games. As a bunch of nerds, we are cultured gentlemen, and video games are part of said culture. So we're definitely gonna have to talk about that one. You know, thank you for joining us in the meeting of pillars. Thank you for joining us at the Hashira Podcast. We hope that you would comment below, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next meeting will be. Subscribe, all that good stuff. I just want to say this because we already said all this anime stuff. So in the comments below, for sure, please tell us what anime means to you, what sticks out about it in your life, and how you react to it, how you react with it. What does it teach you? Because since we were talking, most of this episode was about sweating the details. What are the details in anime that you bring back to your real life? Is it about relating to cultures that are not your own? Is it about people who are respectful, or learning those different types of respect from a culture that you would not necessarily come into contact with? Is it just learning about times in history that you would never know about if you didn't research it because you saw an anime that took place, in the Meiji era, or whatever the case is? Whatever it is that anime does for you, I'm quite sure that you don't just watch it for no reason. You watch it for whether it's just entertainment, whether it's to chill, to relax, to get information, to learn about culture, to just see action on the grandest scale. Because even though there's CGI in movies and it looks pretty good, being able to see it animated is amazing. Just watch a fight in Mob Psycho 100 if you don't believe me. So yeah, please talk to us down there. For now, we'll see you on the next episode. Stay nerdy, my friends.